tournaments, and the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. the exclusive home of the complete.
It's an Original Six matchup as the Montreal Canadiens get set to play their second of back-to-back. Move from the island to Madison Square Garden. They're going to take on the New York Rangers. Montreal lost Jake Evans in that game. Opens up a spot. So Mike Hoffman back in the lineup, looking to build on his 7 goals so far this season. And Michael Pezzetta bound to be a spark in this game. He knows what his job is. And how about Jake Leschyshyn making his season debut with the Rangers? He was picked up off waivers from Las Vegas as we welcome you into Molson Export Canadiens Hockey. Hello, everyone. I am Tessa. This is Frankie. So the Rangers, pretty hot team starting 2023. They lost 1 of 6 games they've played so far this season. The Canadiens obviously played them 10 days ago, losing 4-1. So they're going to look to get back to them in this game. But they're coming off a 2-1 loss against the Islanders, a game where Sam Montembeault played fantastic. With more on that, let's get to Brian Mudryk and Dave Poulin, who will have the call on tonight's game.
Tessa, Samuel Montembeault will go back-to-back for the Montreal Canadiens, his 4th straight start. And Dave, last night, he was really strong for the Habs, 36 saves. But what could Montreal do for him? Maybe give the goalie a little bit of help offensively and defensively early in hockey games.
Well, we'll certainly chat about the start in a second, but over the last 2 games, there's a lot of encouraging signs for Montreal. Good win against Nashville, a lot of good components there. Special teams were key with 2 goals on the power play. Last night, other than the first 6 minutes, a pretty good game. And in those first 6 minutes, just 2 small technical errors. It was a transfer between Samuel Montembeault and his forward, and then face-off coverage on the second goal. So you've got to clean up a couple things, but this isn't being overwhelmed at any sort. And after the stretch of games they've been through, they're allowed to take satisfaction in small little victories. And so coming in against a well-rested Rangers team, they've been off since Thursday. They're high-flying right now. They've been terrific through their last stretch of games. This will be a good test. A little bit early start, 5 o'clock. Wake them up early.
Tough, too, to see Jake Evans go down. He's been playing some really good hockey lately. Lower body injury, won't play in the contest. And the Habs have allowed the first goal in the last 9 games. Trying to remedy tonight at MSG. Tessa.
Yeah, they're going to need a way better start than they had on the island, I'll tell you that much. Here's a look at their projected lineup for the game against the Rangers tonight. As mentioned, Mike Hoffman, Michael Pezzetta back in the lineup. Hoffman on that second line next to Kirby Dach and Josh Anderson. And how about Nick Suzuki scoring the lone goal for the Montreal Canadiens in that game, doing what a captain does. I really feel like he takes full responsibility in trying to be that guy to put up points or at least generate chances and offense every shift he's out there. And it almost seems like Marty St. Louis recognizes this and is paying him some compliments in unique ways.
Well, I don't know about you, but I always felt that there's a few different ways coaches can compliment you. They can come down the bench, tell you great shift, pat you on the back, but none of those compare to ice time. That is the ultimate compliment for a coach to give you, and Nick Suzuki gets a ton of ice time. And this is nothing new, but sometimes you need to put it into perspective just how much he plays. He's averaging just over 21 minutes per game. There are only 4 forwards in the National Hockey League who average more than that per game. Rantanen, McDavid, Draisaitl, and Marner. That is some pretty elite company for an elite player in Nick Suzuki. He's reliable, he's responsible, and he produces. And I can't help but think that at some point during Nick Suzuki's career, maybe when the Montreal Canadiens are knocking on the door to the playoffs or trying to win a Stanley Cup, he's going to look back early in his career and say, there's nothing that I didn't see. There's nothing that catches me by surprise. I learned so much responsibility early on in my career, and hopefully that goes a long way for him and the Montreal Canadiens.
No doubt, all deposits into the experience bank that he will definitely be making some withdrawals through his lengthy NHL career, I do not doubt. He scored his 16th goal the other day, snapping a goalless drought. Anywho, we're going to continue to get you set up for this matchup at MSG. The second of 3 games between these two teams this season. An original 6 matchup. You know it's going to be good. It's the Rangers. It's the Habs. Coming up next.
Some people...
Hockey on TSN is proudly brought to you by Molson Export. Here's to the real ones.
All right, here's a look at tonight's starting goaltenders. Sam Montembeault back between the pipes. First time the Habs have played the same goaltender in back-to-back games. Clearly like what they saw in the game against the Islanders. And Igor Shesterkin will get his first look at the Habs this season. The game they played back at the Bell Center, it was Yaroslav Halak between the pipes. And as mentioned, I mean, obviously yesterday, the start to the hockey game is not what the Montreal Canadiens wanted. Down to just in 6 minutes in. What would the messaging be from Marty St. Louis ahead of this game?
Don't fight an uphill battle. It's a back-to-back. Try and make this game a little easier for you off the start. Find a way to keep this game close, and maybe you can win it later on in the game.
I believe they say, keep it simple, stupid. Is that what it is? Correct.
That's what they said to me.
Simple hockey goes a long way, especially on the second of a back-to-back. All right, let's get to MSG. Enjoy Brian and Dave. We've got the call. Over to you, fellas.
Tessa, Original 6 showing out on this Sunday night. New York Rangers, Montreal Canadiens, second of 3 meetings. Lineup shuffling for Martin St. Louis as we talked about Hoffman with Doc and Anderson tonight.
Certainly Mike Hoffman back in the lineup will be looking to make his mark. You know, it's going to be anxious down this stretch for a lot of people, Brian, as things continue to evolve for Montreal. Who will be in the lineup, who will be out. And you can't make it a regular basis. If you're out of that lineup, you've got to fight to get back in, and you've got to play well when you come in. So Michael Pezzetta will try and bring what he brings. Mike Hoffman will try and bring what he brings. Mike Hoffman's got to score goals to be an effective player.
And a great opportunity as well for Yoel Armia tonight. He's on the top line with Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield, as Suzuki scoring last night. Game 2 of a back-to-back for Montreal. Underway, puck drop, and Yoel Armia chasing after the puck, and he's got it. Armia tried to lift it in, right to Zibanejad. He intercepts, and the Rangers control. Kaapo Kakko stretching it for Lafreniere. Hit by Harris in the corner. Alexis Lafreniere on the top line with Zibanejad and Kakko tonight. Battle below the goal line, freed up. Kakko up top, Lindgren. He'll send it across. Fox gets it back to him. Lindgren shoots in and out of Montembeault, and Harris slashes it away. Back up to Lindgren. Bouncing puck, cradled and controlled by Montreal. Sent to the left side for Caulfield. Cole Caulfield, what a move! Caulfield in! Oh, great stop, Shesterkin! Some magic early from Cole Caulfield. What a move in tight.
Wow, what a slick move that was. Just inside out and ran out of real estate. But what a move on that off wing for Cole Caulfield.
The young gun shut down by the Vezina Trophy winner. Unbelievable stuff early as Kravtsov works it deep into the zone for Panarin. Trocheck takes contact below the goal line, using the boards up top. That drive never got through as Keandre Miller let it go. As Miller was the hero on Thursday versus Dallas, scored with a second left in regulation, actually less than a second. They tied it up. Adam Fox got the OT winner. Dave, that's only happened 4 times in the history of the Rangers, scoring to tie it up in regulation in the final second. And Keandre Miller did just that. The, 96 years and counting of the Rangers in franchise history. So pretty cool story for the young D on the Rangers side.
Also significant that that's 2 defensemen scoring the tying goal and winning goal. And that's the kind of offense they've gotten from their defensemen this year. They're led by Adam Fox back there, but they got a lot of guys chipping in.
They are 4th in points from the D-man in the NHL so far this season. Here's Jesse Ylonen advancing into the zone, stops, tries to protect the puck, looking for Dadonov, hit him up high. Big 6'6" Ben Harper able to play to center ice, and Goodrow works it in. Harris, backhand pass, look out as lurking was Barclay Goodrow, trying to find that puck. Hedel, Vesey, and Goodrow on a line tonight for the New York Rangers as Jonathan Drouin flips it in. Both teams getting a change in. Nearly 3 minutes gone in this first period, as the Habs will return home and open up a 5-game homestand beginning Tuesday versus the Jets. There's Fox, spun around, gave away the puck to Pezzetta. Pezzetta curls around, stops, looks for help. Pezzetta checked by Johnny Brodzinski. Freed up to the Rangers line. Sammy Blais tried to advance play, turned it over. Dvorak, drop pass, wrist shot into the glove of Shesterkin as Slavkovsky cutting in. And Igor Shesterkin, great numbers coming in, 20 wins on the season, and he was tested early by Cole Caulfield.
And I've been waiting to see this replay again for the last 3 minutes. What a slick little move. He puts it right through Adam Fox and around. Just a dynamite, just a little touch to himself over Fox's stick. And big Slavkovsky comes in, a good feed from Dvorak.
25 goals on the season for Caulfield as Armia. Some tenacious work on the forecheck with Caulfield. Caulfield lost the puck, though, to Alexis Lafreniere. Lafreniere to the left side. Deandre Miller tried to slide that through the stick of Montembeault. Kaapo Kakko in the corner. Kakko hit by Barron. And a good body check. Edmondson freeing the puck for Barron, and he'll free the puck.
Teammates Keandre Miller and Cole Caulfield up against one another on that little rush from University of Wisconsin. Little smile on his face, I'm sure, as Cole Caulfield pushed him to the outside.
The Hobey Baker winner, Cole Caulfield. His brother still playing NCAA with that organization. Stretch pass up ahead, intended for Vitaly Kravtsov. As Kravtsov elevated with Trocheck and Panarin for this game. Shot from Trouba. Pardon me, that was Ben Harper from the point, handled by Montembeault. Josh Anderson in the corner. Anderson. Second attempt. They'll work it just past Savard for Hoffman. Hoffman sees Harper coming. Couple former Ottawa Senators. In comes Trocheck, picked up by Kirby Dach. As Dach back to center tonight, centering Hoffman and Anderson. He'll flip it to Anderson. Josh Anderson. Backhand feed in. That was cut down by Braden Schneider. Schneider down the ice right to Jordan Harris as the Rangers get a change in.
Excellent use of Jordan Harris. Behind the net, just use his body, position himself, just learning the little nuances of the game defensively to make it simpler for himself.
David Savard starting the play. In comes Jonathan Drouin, leaves for Dadonov, round the boards, Drouin for Ylonen. Ylonen up top, look out though. Kovacevic has to backpedal all the way down to Montembeault. Good stick by BC, but no harm done to Montreal. Floating drive from Lindgren, and Montembeault stopped that. Here's Hedl. Winding it up, drops it back. Adam Fox hesitates, delays, still with it. Fox towards the front of the net. Rebound in front, and Ylonen trying to stick handle that out of danger as Fox, fourth in defensive scoring coming into the hockey game in the National Hockey League. Hedl gets taken down high slot. Lindgren walks it in deep, tries to chip it back, and is able to. There's BC, up for Fox, Rister, and in traffic, Samuel Montembeault able to squeeze that down. These key parts of the game are presented by Napa Auto Parts.
For Montreal, be special. 2 power play goals against Nashville lead to a 4-3 win, or 5-4 win rather. Not able to get the special teams going on Long Island. New York Rangers looking up, sitting in 3rd place in that division. They don't want to see what's happening behind them, Brian, because there's a lot going on there. They want to look up and see who are above them.
Rangers losing to Tampa in the Eastern Conference Final last year in the playoffs. A very strong year. And looking good again to make the postseason, led by their outstanding goalie, Shesterkin, who's 20 wins right now, tied for 3rd in the National Hockey League. Remember that game we talked about at the Bell Center? It was Yaroslav Halak, the former Hab, who got the win versus Montreal. As Dvorak, some space, bursting into the forehand is Shesterkin, shutting the door on Dvorak, who's got no goals in his last 11 games, but he does have 10 points in 9 career games versus the New York Rangers. So Dvorak and Caulfield, some pretty good looks early on Igor Shesterkin.
A really good outlet pass by Justin Barron, then put Christian Dvorak in all alone on Shesterkin, and big stop coming across from his right to left. Christian Dvorak flying down that offside, and the feed was sweet through the neutral zone and protects the puck coming across. Does a good job of getting the leg out to protect the defender right there. Big Keandre Miller's not able to get to the puck, but Shesterkin follows it all the way across.
Shesterkin, the 7th Rangers goalie in history of the franchise to go to the All-Star game this year, and well-deserved from the reigning Vezina Trophy winner. There's Lafreniere. Freeing Zibanejad, cruising in through center ice. He'll drop it off. Capo Caco in. Zibanejad in front. Kicked aside. Montembeault. Rebound try. Still loose. Lindgren the drive, and that was handled. One more time, Lindgren. He'll work it across. What a stop by Montembeault. Lindgren. High wrister. 2 bodies post. Rebound through the crease. Oh, wide open side of the net. And Lafreniere couldn't cash. Hill center. Bouncing high slot. Good pressure from New York. And finally, Yoel Armia able to settle things down in a 3-on-2. Caulfield waiting, wrister, Suzuki in front, and Shesterkin the save. Montembeault picking up right off where he was last night with some stellar saves in net for the Montreal Canadiens. Yoel Armia, pass behind him. Chip to center ice, and Hoffman collects the puck for Montreal. Watched by Panarin. Hoffman, backhand feed to David Savard. He'll use the boards up to center ice, intended for Doc. Harper there. Harper in his own zone. Able to work it for Kravtsov. Doc at center ice. Working things the other way with Hoffman. Hoffman, far boards, works it in. Anderson and Doc down low. Pop free on Anderson, trying to get it back. And that's jammed to center ice and down into Montreal territory with Trocheck in on Savard.
Nice little play by Kirby Dach to free up space for Josh Anderson. Just popped out in front of the net, unable to contain it.
Hoffman lost the puck as that drive. Follow up. Keandre Miller missed. Hoffman stick shattered. He's got to get a fresh stick, and what a chance for Keandre Miller. Kravtsov across. One-time drive. Montembeault, the big push on Trouba. Jacob Trouba unloading the one-timer, and Montembeault another save.
Strong left to right for Samuel Montembeault there. Trouba gets all of it on a good hard seam pass. Montembeault really quick getting across.
Already 8 saves for Samuel Montembeault, and he's been busy in the early stages.
There's been some great scoring chances in this game so far, Brian.
Fired in by Keandre Miller. With the weird bounce, Kovacevic gets to the puck. Off a turnover right in front. Hedl chasing for the puck. Few tough bounces as Vesey had a really strong look. Vesey pass deflects off his stick. He kind of healed it, and here's Ylonen the other way. Ylonen drops it back. Jonathan Drouin. Drouin backhand feed in front. Digging for it is Dadonov. And play whistle down as Shesterkin and Dadonov, 2 guys that won a Gagarin Cup in the KHL a couple years back. They know each other very well as the Rangers giving Montembeault a good test early.
What a flurry. The first one comes across Zibanejad in front of the net, and then Lindgren on the follow. Watch Lafreniere in tight here. The puck will hit the post coming through. He's wide open. He turns around and just swats at it right across the empty net. And finally, Jacob Trouba with a strong one-timer and met by Samuel Montembeault.
Montembeault got his paddle on that. He got just enough as he was able to keep that out. So upon second glance, what a stop by Montembeault, reaching back and taking one away from the Quebec native Lafreniere. Ylonen lost the puck. Rangers in transition quickly. Pass across inside again. Montembeault, the big stop. Jake Leschyshyn recently picked up on waivers from Vegas. His Ranger debut this season, and what a great chance for him. 2-on-1 the other way. Dvorak, Slafkovsky. What a stop! Stick gone, but a great stop by Shesterkin. He goes into the corner to collect the stick, and the Rangers on the move the other way, led by Jake Leschyshyn. Great action end to end, and the goalie's putting on a clinic.
Are we having fun yet?
Shesterkin pushed across, and I mean everything. Stick went flying, and he kept the puck out. Here's Johnny Brodzinski. Takes the body check from Pezzetta right in front of the Habs bench. Held in by Schneider. Keandre Miller looking for the tip from Zibanejad, high slot, and Pezzetta able to chip that down the ice. Smart play from Pezzetta.
Well, stellar goaltending at both ends of the rink.
Nice little pass. Zibanejad a step. Oh, glove stop. Montembeault. Montembeault and Shesterkin. I mean, we don't have the stars out yet, Dave, but man, their stock's going up for that 3-star selection in this first period.
When you look down to the other end of the rink and you see the reigning Vezina Trophy winner, you're a little incentivized going into the game. And Samuel Montembeault, coming on a strong effort last night on the island, has looked great early. Adam Fox, what a slick little move. Makes a decision, comes across to Leschyshyn, gets shut in tight there and back the other way. Christian Dvorak across to Slafkovsky, and what a stop. Shesterkin goes all in, all out, stick flying to the corner. Brilliant goaltending at both ends of the rink.
Jake Leschyshyn, the son of Curtis Leschyshyn, over 1,000 NHL games as a defenseman. Was a 3rd overall pick of Quebec back in 1988 and won a Stanley Cup with the Colorado Avalanche. And I know Jake Gonzak with the media was excited to come to New York, picked up off waivers, said he'd never been to the city, and hey, what an opportunity now, I'm on the team. So wants to get acquainted and make New York his home. And a good chance there on Montembeault. Puck battle, Armia wins it to Suzuki. The backhand wrap job up for Savard. Savard, Caulfield. Zibanejad all over him, but Caulfield wins the battle. Down low, gets it back. Caulfield off a stick high and wide as Cole Caulfield, great work at his own line as Zibanejad was all over him. So Montembeault so sharp, and last night, Pooley, he was outstanding as well as they got the loss, but he made 36 stops, and a big reason why it was only a 2-1 game.
We talked about the 2 plays early in the game within the first 6 minutes. That one of them was his clear along the boards that led to the first goal, and then a lost face-off assignment on the second one. But other than that, Brian, he was really good, and I'm glad they came back with him tonight. You know, a chance for him to play back-to-back, and even 7 o'clock to 5 o'clock, that's a tough turnaround, but I like the fact that he earned that start coming back.
Dating back to yesterday, obviously stopping his last 42 shots as Caden Primo still the backup. Jake Allen getting closer still day to day. And we send our best to Jake Evans. We just hope that it's not as serious as it looked last night, that injury that he entailed off that face-off draw.
Playing some of the best hockey of his career.
Dadonov in front, shoot, stop, rebound! Still looking for the puck. It was free to the left of Shesterkin. Dadonov, what a look on his former KHL teammate. Jonathan Drouin up for Barrett. Barrett, wrister, hit Drouin. He falls, chops at it, still loose. Yolonen up top, that drive. Shesterkin stops that as Edmondson stepped up into the play and unloaded on Shesterkin. That play developed right at the Ranger blue line. And bang, bang, real quick. Dadonov, what a look in front. Here's Anderson using his speed through center ice. Couldn't fool Vesey as Vesey picked it off, and he's on the move. Jimmy Vesey stops, needs the line. Wrist shot, good deflection in front, Gaudreau as he goes to work. Gaudreau plays it, far boards, Braden Schneider there, he'll chip it in. Gaudreau, backhand feed, and that pops all the way to center ice, and the Rangers have to regroup. Filipino. He had a pair of goals in that win at the Bell Center in the first meeting of the season versus Montreal, the 4-1 victory. Kirby Dach brings it in. Dach round the net. He's watched by Harper. Dach still on it. Going coast to coast here. He falls. Dach back up on the puck. Throws it in front. Bouncing high slot. And collected by the Rangers. Good job by Kovacevic. Kept it in, and Dach right to Shesterkin.
Oh, Dach had Barclay Gaudreau beaten cleanly there and just lost his edge. Able to get back up and still get it towards the net, but he was clear sailing on a good full skate around the offensive zone for Kirby Dach.
Just under 7 minutes remaining in an entertaining first period as we await our first goal, but there have been a load of chances thus far. Four bodies near boards. Pezzetta on the puck, weak wrister. Trouba got in the lane, took it away, and it's Brodzinski swatting it up to Pezzetta, who will reset in his own zone.
Noticeable speed by Slafkovsky in the offensive zone, Brian. Side to side, gets to the board, pins his man. That's the kind of board work that the big body has to get more involved in.
And for Slafkovsky, you mentioned him. His last 3 games, Dave, over 14 minutes per game. He had a career-high 16 minutes versus Nashville. And what a chance, as we talked about Dadonov and just Jurkin earlier.
Well, just a little play. Ylonen feeds Dadonov in front. Slick little feed in. And what a chance he has in tight. Back the other way, Ylonen, again, he was the one that fed Dadonov. Now he's feeding Edmondson on the point.
Well, we talked about good starts, Dave. Obviously, Montreal's had their chances, but Montembeault has done his part, no doubt, early for Montreal as we win our first goal. Harris, bouncing puck near corner, takes contact from Lafreniere. Dvorak helping out his defender. Up for Lindgren. Fox, one-time drive off a stick, and that pop free to Savard is Zibanejad, always dangerous, number 93 on the ice. Adam Fox. Lindgren. Zibanejad, back to Lindgren. He'll walk it in. Lindgren around the net. Thought about it in front. He had Lafreniere, and he couldn't pull the trigger. Zibanejad leaves. But Slafkovsky there. As we mentioned, Slafkovsky starting to get more ice time and more responsibility from Martin St. Louis the last few games.
Just the tiny little details of what he did right there in his defensive zone. Good awareness, good positioning, good spacing to the rest of his teammates.
DeAndre Miller over the line. He's got a burst. He'll stop. Back up top. Wrist shot. Trouba deflected and tipped just wide in front. Panarin collects. Tries the backhand in front. Kravtsov pinned by Edmondson. 5 minutes remaining. MSG first period. Yoel Armia. A little flip for Caulfield. He's got Barron cutting in just over his stick as Justin Barron was cruising in from the blue line. Yoel Armia. Suzuki out there with him as well. Armia trying to protect the puck. Kovacevic couldn't pump it in deep. And it's sent to Caulfield just over his stick. Suzuki well deep in the zone, so the Habs would have been offside. Nice little move inside. Oh, Trocheck. He nearly walked right in, and he draws a penalty as the New York Rangers, the first opportunity on the power play on that drive by Vincent Trocheck. Armia to the box.
Well, Armia had a little chat with Francois Saint-Laurent. He didn't like the call here, but he gets a hook on Vinny Trocheck, and it may have been a good hook. Just as he comes across, just gets a little piece of the stick. He didn't like the call, but I think that's a good call. And I think it was actually a good play by Armia because Trocheck was clear sailing in on Montembeault. An important kill here, Brian, because Montreal has played really well in this first period against a very good team on the road. Tight turnaround from last night, playing against a team that's been resting since Thursday. You have to finish the period. You absolutely have to finish the period. Important kill.
Good clean win back to Panarin. Panarin, Fox, thought about the one-timer. Panarin, Zibanejad. He fanned on the shot as Fox looked Panarin's way, fed Zibanejad, and he missed. Zibanejad's the guy, though. He's got 12 power play goals, tied for 4th coming into tonight in the National Hockey League.
He had no idea where that puck was. It was behind him, and he fanned on it so badly that he lost sight of it.
And the Habs content to kill off some more time and finally flip down the ice. Dvorak getting it in deep. Anderson on the forecheck.
Great battle by Dvorak. Great help from David Savard.
Lafreniere floats one in as the Rangers were 0 for 4 in the power play in their overtime win as Anderson's got some space shorthanded. Anderson shoots. Oh, he whistled it high. Trying to go high on Jurkin. Panarin. Near circle. Artemi Panarin goes down low. Flipped up to Zibanejad. Zibanejad. Panarin thinks about it. Shot and off the stick. Stayed out. Zibanejad. Fox. Back to Zibanejad. Kicks it to his stick. Goes into the corner. Edmondson on it. Can't clear. Trocheck. Little touch pass back to Fox. Across for Panarin. Panarin. High slot. He wanted Trocheck. Fox got a hustle, and he does. Holds the zone. Towards the net. Tipped and through the crease. Nobody there. Panarin was looking for a Ranger jersey. All he found was Suzuki, who intercepts, kills some time, and the gentle flip, the backhand, in deep.
Smart use of 15 to 20 seconds there by Suzuki. It's late in the shift. He's not a threat offensively, but he kills a good amount of time and allows all his teammates to change.
Habs 5 for 5 in the penalty kill their last 2 games coming in, so starting to improve for Martin St. Louis and the coaching staff and the players. As Armia on his skates, ready to come out. Kaapo Kakko with Hedl. Just one shot for the Rangers, back to 5-on-5, and a good kill for Montreal. That went through Armia, otherwise you might have had a step in on Shesterkin.
An excellent kill, moving in unison. Everybody moving at the same time. Nobody isolated anywhere on the ice. Good white pressure all over those blue jerseys.
No one appreciates a penalty kill more than the guy to my right in the booth.
I love it. Are you kidding me? Those fancy power play guys come out there.
DeAndre Miller works it in. Hedl, watched by Harris, thrown in front all the way down the ice as my guy Dave Poulin still top 10 all-time in shorthanded goals in the National Hockey League. With some great names up there, Dave. And you earned every one.
Took a lot of pride in Philadelphia. I killed with Brian Propp most of my career, and then with Super Dave Reed when I got to Boston. Both strong penalty-killing partners.
Ben Harper in the fray behind the net. Able to free it up. Johnny Brodzinski up the right side as Blais takes contact. He gets the puck from his knees. He took a cross-check and a hit from Arber Xhekaj. Leschyshyn, good effort, trying to get in Sammy Blais. Then Blais taken down as Jake Leschyshyn. No points in 22 games this season with Vegas. And I'll tell you what, Dave, early on in his young Rangers career, he's trying to make things happen.
No question about it. He's been effective. He's been moving well, twice to the net hard. And Arber Xhekaj shows the way you clean out in front of the net. You're going to hang around here, Sammy Blais, you're going to be removed forcibly from the area. Goaltender loves to see that in front of him. Sammy Blais, an acquisition coming across that cost him Pavel Buchnevich going back to St. Louis. And hasn't been able to do it offensively here. Blais played such a good role for St. Louis in their cup run in 2019. Hasn't been able to get on track in the same manner here.
Winning that cup with Edmondson and Jake Allen, who is not quite 100% yet. Hopefully the Habs will start to get some bodies back with that 5-game homestand beginning Tuesday. The likes of Mike Matheson, who was close before this road trip began. Be great to see a guy like Sean Monahan back sooner rather than later to help out this young team. Final minute, first period, Madison Square Garden. As we await our first goal, Lafreniere gave it away to Caulfield. Habs in transition. Here comes Suzuki. Oh, what a move. Nick Suzuki nearly broke in, draws a penalty. As the Montreal Canadiens now a chance on the power play, 43.7 to go in this first period.
Both referees made the call, the one deep and the one in tight. So Francois Saint-Laurent, Furman South, both on this call.
Here at Rangers 55, 2 minutes for hooking.
Very similar to the last penalty on Yoel Armia against Vinny Trocheck. Very, very similar. Suzuki beats Lindgren, and then as he's sliding through to prompt the 2-on-1, just that little tug of the hands by Lindgren, and he will sit for 2.
So a chance for the Montreal Canadiens to get one late here on the power play, as they were 0 for 2 versus the Islanders last night. Remember, Cole Caulfield came alive with a couple power play goals in the game versus Nashville. That was a real strong game for Montreal, right through all 4 lines. I mean, they kept coming in waves, that contest. It was a solid game. Obviously, Caulfield, Slafkovsky had a really nice game as well for Montreal.
And important that they backed it up last night with another strong effort, albeit not a win, on the island.
It is Cole Caulfield, 7 power play goals leading the team as Suzuki on the puck. 25 seconds left in the period. Suzuki for Caulfield. Caulfield round the boards for Doc. Doc tried that pop pass in front. Dvorak cleaned up, though. Keandre Miller's on the move. Miller, Zibanejad, back to Miller, and it was broken up as a diving Drouin got back as they tried to cash shorthanded.
Good stick by Jonathan Drouin. He'll get in that position. Obviously, 5 forwards out there.
And that'll do it as the horn sounds on a very entertaining opening 20 minutes.
Absolutely. I was not there for the Nashville game. I was had a chance to watch it and saw the effort and wanted to see it live, and I've seen it in this first period, Brian. Excellent both ways. Good special teams on the penalty kill, good offense.
Regional 6 battle, gotta love it on Molson Export Canadians Hockey on TSN. Intermission coming up next with Tessa Frankie, and Arpon Basu from The Athletic stops by as well.
If you're wondering, has there ever been a time like this?
Continues Tuesday as the Habs take to the ice against the Jets. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 8 Atlantic on TSN in the Habs region. As we welcome you in studio for our first intermission, Tessa Frankie still along with you. Much better start for the Montreal Canadiens. It's what we like to see. It's what we expected. You can't have back-to-back games with a terrible start being down to 6 minutes in. So awesome start for the Montreal Canadiens in that one. And again, just continuing right where we left off in the game against the Islanders, Sami Montembeault playing fantastic, stopping all 14 shots he's faced.
Well, you and I both played defense, and one of the things I really loved as a defenseman was when a goaltender made saves, stood on his head, and sometimes you just need to enjoy the show. And in that period, Samuel Montembeault stole the show, and it was big saves at key moments that gives his team a chance to stay in this game. It's his 4th straight start. His last 3 games have been above 900 save percentage, so he's played really well. He's held up his end of the bargain while Jake Allen's been hurt, and in this game, he's giving Montreal an opportunity now to be in this game in the long term. It's a back-to-back, and when you look at the saves he made some saves where he's moving right to left, he's big in his net, he makes saves in the blue paint. It was a really impressive period, and Tessa, I know you and I played a little defense. Like, when you see that from your goaltender, you want to go back there, you want to give him a tap on the pads, you want to say, great job, keep us in this game a little longer till we can get our feet going.
Yeah, and it almost makes you relax because there's not that pressure to not make a mistake and be perfect. You know your goalie's got you if anything does go awry. So it kind of settles everything down as well, and it gives young defensemen, which the Montreal Canadiens have tons of confidence as well. Well, and speaking of young players who have an infinite amount of confidence, especially under Marty St. Louis, Cole Caulfield, what have you thought of his play so far?
Well, I try and watch him through the eyes of whoever's defending him, right? And so bigger players, you can almost see what they're trying to do before they try and do it. With Cole Caulfield, he's a smaller guy. He's so explosive and so quick. You can't see what he's going to do before he does it. He's got that fast twitch that makes it really hard to defend. So really good play early on in the game. Just going to poke the puck around. Nothing fancy, but Fox has a hard time picking it up. And then at the top of the blue line, really strong on his stick, finds a way to get himself into a scoring area. So as a defenseman, when you're looking at a player like that, it's fast, it's evasive, it's hard to get a hold of, whereas bigger players, you can kind of see what move is coming a little earlier, makes it a little harder to defend. And when Caulfield gets in tight on you, it also gets harder because he can get under your stick, he can kind of move around in ways that maybe you're not accounting for if you're trying to defend him.
And like, this isn't a knock on his height or anything, but he's got a lower center of gravity, so it's much harder for those bigger players, especially to get down low and knock him off.
He just kind of leans in on you, always kind of cross-check over top of him. It makes it quite difficult, actually, and we always think about big body guys trying to put defensemen through the boards and lean on you, and that's a different kind of challenge than what Cole Caulfield presents. So, you know, every time I always come back to watching him through the eyes of a defenseman, I think, this guy would be tough to play against in a different way than, you know, a third or fourth liner, a bigger strapping type of player.
Totally. And he's shifty. He can dance out there. It reminds me of one of my good friends who I played against for a while, Ashley Riggs. She was just as fast as she was forward as she was laterally. You never knew. So it was tough to commit or to defend.
That's what actually the lateral movement is what makes it really tough for a defenseman. And how many times this season have we seen Cole Caulfield with that punch turn, stop on a dime, you know, really evasive in that moment. And the thing that he's really added is once he does that, he's got a shot. Like right away, the shot is being taken, so he doesn't waste any time. And you know, you can see Cole Caulfield, 2 examples in that period, wasting no time, making his move, executing it really well, bringing it right to the net. And that's what good goal scorers do. They understand that there is a certain amount of urgency that needs to be in your game to get that puck delivered to the net.
Yeah, and they keep the opposing team's goaltender honest. You always have to expect the shot from him, but you know that he's got the ability to make the pass. Anywho, when we come back, Arpon Basu is going to join Brian Mudryk, the Montreal Canadiens, sitting exactly where they are, exactly where they want to be, 0-0 through 1 period of play. As mentioned, Arpon's going to join us, talk a little bit of Jake Evans and Kirby Dach.
92% still.
Digital-only content. Stream on your favorite devices. Visit tsn.ca/TSN Plus to learn more. Well, for a player like Jake Evans, who one would call a Swiss Army knife or a utility player who brings so much to the team and can travel up and down the lineup, it was tough to see him go down off of a face-off last night and not return for the final 2 periods. With more on that, let's get to Brian Mudryk and Arpon Basu.
Tessa, thank you. Always exciting to have another episode of Muddy Basu on the road again, which could also be like, we could do like weddings, DJ together.
I think we should do weddings.
Okay.
We could do like a brief concert series, something like that.
We'll save that for another time in another poll entirely. In the meantime, I think our audience wants to talk about the Montreal Canadiens and specifically Jake Evans. And it was so hard to see him go down to injury last night, taking on the Islanders during that face-off run. Here's a guy who, I know you talked about it, that, you know, who doesn't want to root for this guy? 7th-round draft pick, NCAA, Notre Dame, and really fought his way to get this opportunity in the NHL.
Yeah, so I mean, a couple of things on Jake Evans. First of all, at the beginning of every season, it seems like we're wondering, where's Jake Evans going to fit on this team? How is he going to get into the lineup? Beginning of this season, that was it. There were a whole bunch of new forwards in, and he always manages to carve himself out an important role, an important spot on the team, which is exactly what happened when he got hurt. Their top penalty killer, basically their second-line center at that point. So that's one thing, is that he always manages to prove any doubts wrong. He always manages to prove himself. The other thing is, last season I had a chance, we were in St. Louis, and I set myself up in the press box. I went to go eat. I come back, and Jake Evans is sitting like next to where my stuff is. So we wind up sitting there for like 2 periods watching the St. Louis Blues. And this is kind of, Dom Ducharme is still there. Marc Bergevin is still there. He had just signed his contract extension about a month earlier. And so I said, hey, congratulations on the contract. We got to talking about it. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna make $5.1 million to play hockey. How cool is that? Like, I'm set. Like, he was ecstatic, you know, and everyone looks at him, oh, 1.7 million, affordable player, this and that. Life-changing money. So it's just a reflection of how grounded this guy is, what a normal guy he is, how grateful he is to be in the NHL. It's really unfortunate he got hurt because he was playing his best hockey of the season, but really easy guy to root for sure.
In the meantime, lineup shuffling now for Martin St. Louis, as obviously they had 7 defensemen for the last few games. Chris Weidman out for this one. And your focus as well lately on Kirby Dach.
Well, I mean, listen, a lot of the focus for the Canadiens this season is what is the priority right now, tonight, and what is the big picture priority? So Kirby Dach is kind of the embodiment of that. Every night he helps this team win by playing on the wing with Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield. But in the future, when this team's going to be competitive, this guy's going to be a center. Hopefully, he has all the skills you want except for that one thing in the faceoff circle. But the other thing he did in Chicago was kill penalties, and he was really effective at it. He's actually one of their better forwards at killing penalties. He's being used there tonight, reluctantly, after all this time, but it's another aspect of his game, and it just shows sort of the varied importance Kirby Dach has to this team. The only guy who really works with Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield on a consistent basis, and a big, rangy, mobile, skilled center to slot in behind Nick Suzuki. So in his case, I feel the Canadiens do have to take a big picture look. Instead of looking on a night-to-night basis, what helps us tonight? Look at what's going to help them in 2 years when they might actually be competitive.
Let's hope it's not serious for Jake Evans. In the meantime, Arpon, my phone was buzzing. Muddy Basu does have our first gig. It's a guy named Dave Poulin. Dave Poulin.
I am excited.
He's going to hire us.
I am excited.
We set it back so we could use cowbell, Tessa.
It's cash only. Cash only.
I'd hire them, let's be honest. All right, we come back. U18s, Team Canada playing in the gold medal game. Did they defend their title? Find out next. Go, Windsor taking on London. First period, 1-0 Windsor with the 2-man advantage. Shane Wright finishes the tic-tac-toe play for his 3rd of the season. He'd had an empty netter. Spitfires take it 4-1. Wright had 2 goals and an assist in this one. Busy man, doing what he was traded to do. All right, Canucks Hurricanes, less than 3 minutes into the first. Paul Stastny, look at him, left wide open. Better finish from there, no kidding. That's his 3rd of the season and opens the scoring. Canes leading 2-0 through 1 period of play. Earlier, Canada's under-18 women's hockey team, gold medal game, taking on Sweden. First period, already 4-0 Canada. Caitlin Kramer on the 2-on-1, snipes. Completes the first period hat trick. She actually had 4 in the game. I want to talk about busy. My goodness, Canada routs Sweden, wins gold again. 10-0 is your final. Congratulations, ladies. All right, here's what took place in that first period of play between the Montreal Canadiens and the New York Rangers. Rangers outshoot the Canadiens 14-10. However, a way better start for the Montreal Canadiens in this one, that is for sure. They'll look to carry that momentum into the second period. Speaking of second period, let's get you back to the Madison Square Gardens with Brian and Dave who have the call. Over to you guys.
Tessa, great first period on this Sunday night. The Montreal Canadiens will be in the power play to start the second period for 1:17 with Lindgren still in the box. And Dave, this young man caught your eye in the opening 20.
Jesse Ylönen's got an interesting skill set, Brian. He sees the ice very well, moves very well. He's got a pretty good defensive responsibility. And I thought he was very noticeable in that first period. He made a good play in tight to Dadonov. That created a good scoring chance. But just his board play in general all over the ice. So he knows there's jobs available moving forward. The 23-year-old wants to grab one of those right now. He's up from Laval. He's had a cup of coffee in the NHL on a couple of different occasions. But he's got a chance to make his mark here. And we'll be watching for a lot of players to try and do something to impress this year instead of waiting, to see what happens.
8 goals, 27 points in Laval this season. He was second in team scoring behind Anthony Richard, who was also a recent call-up. As we're underway in the second period, Montreal on the power play. And here's Nick Suzuki coasting in. Puck deflected below the goal line. Dvorak able to slash it for Kirby Dach. Drouin at the line, over to Dach. Dach. Suzuki set up, high bumper. Drouin. Back to Dach. And the pass eluding him. Watched by Keandre Miller, and look out. Miller trying to drive in. Drouin gets back, though, and took it away.
Just an errant pass by Jonathan Drouin. He's got the right idea. He's got Dach circling down, and they've created a nice angle for him. Just missed the pass.
Suzuki drops it at the line. Fired in. Caulfield there, but Trouba first on the puck. Can't clear. Drouin, though, gave it away as he put it right on the tape of Vesey. Jimmy Vesey walking in towards the net. Hit Dvorak's skate. There's just 15 seconds remaining in the minor penalty. Lindgren ready to come out.
Brian, you can see when someone does pick off the puck for the Rangers, they know there's 5 forwards out there. Jimmy Vesey just lit up there and saw where he could attack moving into the offensive zone.
Held in at the line by Hoffman. Good stick moves. Hoffman still controls. Back to 5-on-5. Hoffman tried to backhand it in front, so no shots for Montreal on that power play. That took a weird bounce. High off the glass, right to center ice. There's Yoel Armia. Armia delays. Hoffman. And the backhand pass, nobody home. As Montembeault will travel out to play it. Anderson over the blue line, brings it in. Wrist shot. Hit a few bodies, didn't get through to Shesterkin.
Good traffic going to the net there.
And again, it was Hoffman lurking in front, trying to get that puck on Shesterkin as Panarin curls around in his own zone. Artemi Panarin trying to skate away from Drouin. Drouin shadowing number 10 as he continues to follow Artemi Panarin. Maybe not a bad idea. Harris into the corner with Kravtsov. Harris takes it away from Panarin. Strong stick. Harris able to, again, second try, move it out of the zone. Harris delays at center ice for Anderson. Habs stay on side, and Anderson floats it in. Ben Harper starting the play. Up for Trocheck. Dadonov gets it back to Harris as the Rangers getting a change in. Good speed again by Ylönen. Wrist shot. Good stop, Shesterkin. Ylönen leaves it in the corner. That drive handled by Shesterkin. Dadonov reaching for it. In comes Hedl. Filipino wrist shot. Looking short side. Had Lafreniere going to net as well. From distance, another good stop by Samuel Montembeault. Dadonov in transition quickly. Evgeny Dadonov. Near circle towards the net. Dvorak using the boards. Barrett, one-time drive. Puck loose in front. No one sees it, and it actually deflected into the corner. Shesterkin shaking his right hand right now, but he appears to be okay.
A lot of traffic in front of him. Ylönen with the strong shot, but Jonathan Drouin finding fashion. And look at those numbers in his best games, always in the second half of the year, Brian. And obviously he sat out a lot in the first half and went through some different things. And it'd be nice to see him find his game again. He looks more comfortable out there. He looks more engaged. Little responsibility running the top of the power play with 5 forwards out there. But the pass that he made to Nick Suzuki last night, indicative of his playmaking abilities and what he could bring in this second half overall. No one knows what's going to happen long term. He's in the final year of his deal, unrestricted free agency. But just to see the young man get his game back a little bit is very encouraging.
Jonathan Drouin, 4 assists in his last 2 games for Montreal. Pezzetta in the corner. Slafkovsky. Arbor Xhekaj, big bomb. And a good stop, Shesterkin. And after the play in front, Pezzetta, Lindgren mixing it up.
Good for Michael Pezzetta. That's exactly what he's got to do to be effective. Didn't take a penalty doing it. Woke Ryan Lindgren up a little bit. Just gave him a shot. Lindgren didn't seem to want anything to do with that. Just give a little slash and knock the stick out of Michael Pezzetta's hands and said, I'm allowed to be here too. Shot by Arbor Xhekaj from the point. He can let it go and gets it through. Good glove save. You see the little exchange there. And Ryan Lindgren, interestingly enough, who will choose to get in battles on his terms, chose not to on those terms.
Arbor Xhekaj into the corner, leads the National Hockey League in penalty minutes. Caulfield fishing for the puck. Lafreniere gave it away to Armia. Armia, far boards. Trying to bring it in deep. There's Suzuki. He'll drop it back. Barron, the backhand in. In comes Caulfield. Little nudge there on Adam Fox. Fox and Caulfield tangled up a little bit again. And play whistle down. Yeah, we've got a holding call behind the play, and that little tangled up is going to result in a penalty to Adam Fox, who's not really happy with the call.
2 good plays by Justin Barron. One with
a number 23, 2 for holding.
One with a quick little step from his right to left along the blue line, and then a decision to pinch. There's the hold. Look, he had his arm wrapped pretty well around the head of Cole Caulfield at that point. Adam Fox didn't like it, as most players don't. But Justin Barron, little flashes you see in his game, Brian, things that made him a first-round pick of the Colorado Avalanche. Of course, came over in their Arturi Lehkonen deal at the trade deadline last year.
And as you pointed out, Lehkonen is becoming quite the player in Colorado.
Wow.
Here's Suzuki. So Montreal power play 0 for 1 in the hockey game. Suzuki setting things up, far boards. Nick Suzuki. Dvorak, Suzuki gets it back. Suzuki assessing options. He goes up top. Drouin, Suzuki walks it in. Wrist shot just wide, hit a body. Couldn't beat Shesterkin. And Suzuki, we've seen that work before as the Rangers try to come in 2-on-1 shorthanded. Trouba, good stop, Montembeault. Skapo Kakko was cutting it as well. Here's Caulfield in transition. Dvorak across. Dach shoots, score! Kirby Dach, power play goal. And the Habs strike first. It's 1-0.
That might be a new little power play celebration we just saw right there. A little rising of the group when the 5 players get together. What a rush. A strong save by Montembeault off Jacob Trouba on a 2-on-1. Suzuki had worked hard to get back. That starts the play as it pops up the ice. Well executed. There's a forward back on this. It's Zibanejad. So they exploit and attack Zibanejad's side. Now K'Andre Miller thinks he's got to come across and help Zibanejad. That frees up the Dvorak to Dach pass. And Dach picks the corner perfectly.
Kirby Dach, his 8th goal of the season, and for the first time over that span in 9 games now, the Montreal Canadiens get the first goal in a hockey game as Hoffman looking for more. Ike Hoffman in front. Return tries Dach. Nearly had another one in the period. Kirby Dach. It's funny how that goal gets the legs going.
2 whacks at it as well, Brian. He sort of missed the first one. I think he got the second one on net.
So Kirby Dach from Dvorak and Caulfield. Power play goal. Montreal striking first here on this Sunday night. Here's Anderson. Dach up for Hoffman. Hoffman delays. Trying to hit. Kirby Dach cutting in. Anderson in a battle with Schneider. Harper. Or Panarin. Backhand sauce. 2-on-2. Trocheck checks behind him. Trocheck brings it in. And a good job, Dach got back and stole it.
What a great back check by Kirby Dach.
Dadonov. Wrist shot into the glove of Shesterkin, and he will hold as the shots now all level, 16 apiece. But the Montreal Canadiens on a goal by Kirby Dach, his 8th of the season.
As this puck circles out, you can see they can note that Zibanejad is the forward playing back, and they attack his side. Christian Dvorak just draws him in a little bit and opens up the right side wide. Kirby Dach not only scores a goal, then gets a great scoring chance. Most impressively, Brian, strong back check on that last rush.
26 points last season with Chicago in 70 games. He's got 27 points already for the Montreal Canadiens. So obviously career highs, and it'll be a career season here for Kirby Dach. And Habs fans hoping just the start of many years like that to come in Montreal colors. 37 minutes gone in this second period. Adam Fox maneuvering. Good shot blocked. Drouin got a skate in the way. Fox again, as the former Norris Trophy winner works it in. Kovacevic there, off the boards. Dadonov cleans up the mess. BC back defensively. Adam Fox. Here's Hedl, beats the right side, goes to the net. Fox, some space, and Suzuki stick in the way. Able to break that up. Pass back up top as Gaudreau. Hedl spinning, shooting, and that missed. Rangers trying to pressure back. Jacob Trouba towards it. A tip. Good stop, Montembeault, as VC, the deflection in front.
Excellent reaction by Samuel Montembeault in that point shot.
As Nick Suzuki brings it in, a step offside. The Montreal Canadiens here at MSG on the board, courtesy Kirby Dach, as the 21-year-old has 8 on the season and now 27 points.
Kirby Dach moved back into the middle today with the absence of Jake Evans, but still maintaining his regular spot in the power play and takes a nice Christian Dvorak feed. And that's a career high in points for Kirby Dach. And you can see in the number of games played, a little maligned through the pandemic era, if you will, and an injury that he sustained in 2021, but just a little over halfway through this season and on a 50-plus point pace.
Dvorak a helper. He now has 11 points in 10 career games versus the New York Rangers. In comes Caulfield. Picked up by Lafreniere. Armia hits him. Suzuki into the mix. Edmondson near point, shoots it in. Armia gives chase. There's Caulfield and Armia. Great opportunity for Yoel Armia tonight, elevated to that top line.
Just remarkable what a couple of goals do for the confidence of a hockey player. And you say, well, wait a second, he's 29 years old. How can you even say that? That's how fragile it is.
High one in Shesterkin. He thought about it.
Little jump ball there for Shesterkin.
I think the Raptors are tomorrow night, so. Armia in the corner. Justin Barron there as well. Zibanejad able to free it down low. Lafreniere, backhand feed. Edmondson took it away. Picked up again by Capo Caco. Edmondson giving Lafreniere a hard time. Pins him to the board. Suzuki caught up there with a leg. Couldn't break free with Caulfield. Suzuki at the end of a shift. He'll walk it in himself. Suzuki allowing his teammates to change. Savard. All tied up with Sammy Blais as they were tangled up. The crowd wanted a call. As Blais goes to the net, picks up the puck, gets sandwiched in the corner. Slafkovsky wraps it near boards. In comes Schneider. He meets Dvorak. Savard gets crunched by Sammy Blais. Here's Slafkovsky. Hasn't scored since December 1st at Calgary in the opening stages of that game, and the tip right in front. Dvorak, good hands in front of Shesterkin, but couldn't cash. Savard, he'll chip it in. In comes Pezzetta. Pezzetta finishing his check on Schneider. Brodzinski works it in. Decision. Brodzinski, both working in the corner. Little chip there by Mike Hoffman. Up comes Slafkovsky.
strong five-man breakout. Everybody swung over to the close side rather, swarmed the puck, layered out from there. It took 5 Montreal Canadiens to break that puck out, and they did so cleanly.
Some speed from Panarin up the left wing. Centers it in front. That's chipped to the near wall. Fox leaves it back. Trocheck sends it across. As that wrister high off the glass, off a leg. Vesey skated by it, picked up by Edmondson. And the high flip job up for Gauck.
Joel Edmondson's had a strong game today, Brian. You can just see why he would be so attractive. A number of scouts here from a variety of teams.
Up top, that drive didn't get through from Trouba. Another chance, and that might have grazed the side of the post as Panarin, the playmaker, far boards.
Kirby Dach wounded on that shot, hit him on the outside of the leg. And
in transition, here's Dadonov with Dach. Pass was behind him. He wasn't set up and couldn't accept it clean. Anderson lumbering into the corner. Kirby Dach, backhand try, and Shesterkin. It wasn't a hard shot, but he had the pads down in time. Fox had a nice game. He's had a few looks in tight on Shesterkin.
Certainly much more involved physically, and the chance to go from wing to center.
Keandre Miller's drive misses wide. Miller back on the puck, far point. Nearly gave it away. Hedl through his own legs towards the net, and Montembeault is going to settle things down. It was a beautiful day in Manhattan as we are at MSG on this Sunday night. It's 1-0 Montreal.
Kirby Dach started things off at center and then moved to the wing to play with Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield. That really seemed to initiate his offense or ignite it, and still in good defensive position. Takes that shot off the foot, then a little swing around the offensive zone, gets a good backhand chance, but certainly seems to be able to go back and forth from the wing to the center. It doesn't know exactly where he will end up long term, but the more versatility he has, the more valuable he'll be to Montreal.
That was a topic of discussion with Arpon Basu of The Athletic as he joined us in the first intermission. Habs control off the faceoff. Here's Cole Caulfield. Picked up by Savard. He'll chip it in. Lindgren back on the puck. Goodrow able to free it. And it's a 2-on-2 led by Hedl. Trying to drive in. Worth mentioning, too, the Rangers, they've played some nice hockey lately without the services of Chris Kreider as well, their 50-plus goal scorer from last season.
That play very well played by Jordan Harris. Good stick position on Hedl. Hedl's a good-sized guy with a really strong stick.
Yoel Armia up the left wing. Armia and Fox in the corner. Suzuki there as well. Suzuki up top for Harris. They'll sling it across. Nice delay, Savard. Harris, space, loads up, and Shesterkin in the crest. It sticks to him, and he'll hold.
David Savard had all kinds of traffic in front for his option to shoot, but almost too much traffic, he felt like. And then when it came across to Harris, the lane was clear right through to Shesterkin. He could see it the whole way in. Found it, and he smothers pucks so well. They literally seem to stick to him, Brian. Little Velcro on the chest there of that Ranger jersey. Draws pucks in and magnetizes them to him.
Zibanejad wins the draw with Drouin. Back to Schneider. Kaapo Kakko. Little flip to space for Harper. Harper, wrist shot, Montembeault to stop. Off the back of the net. Kakko. Maneuvering away from Barry. Lafreniere leaves it. Schneider works it back in. Nice little spin move. Kaapo Kakko protects the puck. Feeds the point. Harper. Lafreniere. Give and go with Harper. Harper towards the net. Hit a skate, went wide. Good job by Harper to maintain possession. Zibanejad in for Lafreniere. Hit by Dadonov. Lafreniere side checked it. Goes up. Far point. Schneider. He'll backhand it in. Good ozone time here by the Rangers as they change on the fly. Harper, that drive. It was blocked by Ylonen. And finally, it pops up in front of Montembeault, and he will hold for a faceoff.
Good offensive zone time there for the Rangers, but no results. But Since December 5th, they have been on Fuego, just over 500 at that point. Gerard Gallant got things squared away after that, and in their last 17 games, 13 wins, only 2 regulation losses, and everything is better. The goals for, the goals against, the power play, the penalty kill. Those are the 4 mainstays. If you're good in those 4, Brian, you're going to be rolling along, and that's exactly what New York's doing right now.
Gerard Gallant, the most wins in history after 100 games behind the bench, 60 wins with the Rangers organization, obviously. So a great start for him here on Broadway, where the pressure is always very high. And you talk about the streak, so we mentioned Chris Kreider out. Gauthier's out, upper body. Kreider's still in the lineup. And Lindgren, Panarin, and Kravtsov, they didn't practice yesterday. There was a bit of a stomach flu going around, but obviously some of those guys available to go today.
They certainly are. And Gerard Gallant, another case of a very good coach that has switched teams in recent, time. You think of Bruce Cassidy and Peter DeBoer and Rick Bowness and some of the guys that have flipped around from team to team. And when you get a good coach and you go to another good coach, there's layers to that players benefit from. Coaches won't be happy with me, Brian, saying they should change a coach once in a while, but seemingly beneficial.
It's a part of the business.
It certainly is.
Always will be, as that's brought in offside.
And it's a really tough part of the business. I mean, we certainly know that, but you look at those teams. Jimmy Montgomery goes into Boston. He replaces Bruce Cassidy. Well, they're both really good coaches. So they're individual players. Might be a defenseman, might be a forward that benefit from those coaching changes. And there's a cumulative effect to that. And Gerard Gallant, we know, is a very good hockey coach.
So Slafkovsky goes to the box for holding as he got tangled up at center ice, spun BC around. So the New York Rangers, a chance on the power play. Zibanejad leads the way this season, 20 power play points. We mentioned earlier his 12 goals in the power play, tied for 4th in the National Hockey League. And it's a power play that is sitting 15th in the National Hockey League. You look at their numbers overall, the Rangers, 14th goals per game, 8th in goals against. Obviously the net minding led by Shesterkin, a big reason why they are currently a playoff team in the Metro. So face off to the left of Montembeault. It's back to Fox. Fox across, one-timer just wide as Zibanejad cranked it up. Fox, Mika Zibanejad delays, wrist shot, and I think just a paddle. Bit of the stick, and then out of play as Montembeault, man, he has been sharp carrying over from last night.
He's been very, very strong. And Mika Zibanejad, pretty impressive list he's up there with. Some guys you've heard of before. Thompson, the newest name up on that list, but certainly Pasternak and the 2 Edmonton superstars, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
Remember, Kreider had 26 power play goals for this team last year. So they have a lot of weapons. But Montreal's done an outstanding job thus far.
Nice second effort on that face-off win by Nick Suzuki. A lot of draws are not won right on the initial drop, Brian. And the second effort, so critical, particularly shorthanded.
Artemi Panarin will pick up the puck near boards. Goes to the line. Fox. Zibanejad. Little slap pass as he choked down on the 9-iron there, trying to make it work. Fox walks it in. Fox delivers down low, gets it back. Fox, Panarin, Zibanejad right in front, and Edmonton able to kick it out of the way as Lafreniere was set up right in front of Montembeault.
2 veteran heavy defensemen, David Savard and Joel Edmondson.
Zibanejad nearly freed in. Savard watching him. Fox zips it across. Panarin delivers. Fox hesitates, still on it. Fox, Panarin, wrist shot. Montembeault stops that up high. 40 seconds left in the minor penalty to Slafkovsky. Under 6 to go in the period. Edmondson, smart play, a little gentle in-turn draw.
Smart, isn't that? There's an easy way to play this game, and Nick Suzuki can often find it, and I don't say easy in a soft way. I say easy in a smart way.
Steal by Anderson at center ice. As they'll kill off some more time. Montreal's penalty kill doing a great job so far tonight. Kaapo Kakko at the line. 4 shirts waiting to stay on side, and they are. Kakko Near circle. Works it down low. As Slafkovsky's out of the box. Capo Kakko trying to work it for a good row. Keandre Miller indeed. Good row. Kakko. Nice shot block Slafkovsky who got in the lane. Up top, Keandre Miller. Shot just wide. As the deflection not on Montembeault. Up top again. Trouba's drive misses the mark. Miller and Kovacevic in the corner. There's Filip Chytil. So 3 shots on the power play, and the Rangers still possess the puck in the ozone. Keandre Miller. He'll dump it off. Miller gets it back. Delayed penalty coming to Montreal. Shesterkin to the bench for another attacker. Chytil. Keandre Miller thought about it. Panarin takes the pass. Across for Chytil. Loads up. Hit a body, went wide. As the Habs are gassed. They need possession. Extra attacker. Panarin shoots. Score! Artemi Panarin. Extra attacker out, and the Habs were simply out of gas as Panarin strikes for his 12th. It's 1-1.
Unfortunate for Montreal because it was a tail end of a penalty kill, and Josh Anderson and Christian Dvorak got caught out there and couldn't get off the ice, and the Rangers went into full possession mode, moving the puck all over the place. You can see how tightly compacted Montreal is. When those legs go straight like that, that's tough. Panarin's so deceptive, comes across and just shoots it through traffic. He's looking to the far side of the net. We can see it perfectly there. That shift for Josh Anderson, a shade under 2 minutes, 1 minute and 54. Dvorak, 1 minute and 26. You can just see how tired Josh Anderson was there. So unfortunate because it was an excellent kill.
So on the 26th shot, they finally get one by Montembeault as he's made 25 saves thus far in a 1-1 game. An exciting original 6 battle as Hoffman carries it in for Montreal. Cole Caulfield wrist shot into the glove of Shesterkin. Shesterkin. And welcome back to our coverage. Beautiful shot of the Statue of Liberty, New York, as we are in Manhattan at Madison Square Garden on this Sunday night. And this is a city that Jeff Gorton knows very well, as he really still has a stamp, Dave, on this franchise.
See some of the moves that he made. Mika Zibanejad picked up from Ottawa in 2017. 2 second-round picks for Adam Fox, who wanted to play in New York. Artemi Panarin wanted to play in New York. They sent that letter out in 2018, Brian, said there was going to be a full rebuild. But when you add Fox and Panarin, because they both want to be here, a couple of free agent moves, good trades, good drafting. Jeff Gorton, now the senior vice president of the Montreal Canadiens, had a lot to do with the team that's skating out there right now.
And an exciting game between both these teams. The second of 3 meetings. As they announce the goal by Panarin in the building, his 12th of the season from Chytil and Keandre Miller.
And Montreal certainly a franchise that could benefit the same way, Brian, in terms of player choosing to go and play there. And Fox had actually been drafted by Calgary, wouldn't report there from Harvard, didn't go to Carolina when he got traded there. He wanted to play in New York. He's from Jericho, New York, wanted to be a Ranger. And Artemi Panarin, the grand sweepstakes, as a free agent, just chose New York. And so you have to get a little fortune along the way in the rebuild, but some excellent drafting decisions made as well.
Keandre Miller now on a 6-game point streak, Dave. He's got 8 points in those 6 games, including, of course, we talked about his heroics in that last game, scoring in the final second of regulation to force OT where Fox scored.
Because of his size, you think of him more as a defensive player, but boy, he gets up ice. He can wheel.
Big part of the future here in New York as the Rangers bring it in the offensive zone. Lecision works it in. Kovacevic avoids the hit from Sammy Blais. Arbor Xhekaj collects. Blais tried to line up Xhekaj. They both go down in a heap. Kovacevic gets to the puck. Yoel Armia tried to flip around BC. Nearly hit his own player, Ylonen. In comes Doc. Kirby Doc and Trouba. Armia below the goal line. He takes a spill. 2 minutes, 20 seconds remaining in this second period. Trocheck Shoots it in for the Rangers. Jimmy Vesey in. Played up to the line. Here's Trouba. Trouba floats one in, hit a body, goes high and wide as Jimmy Vesey, remember, came in on a professional tryout and earned himself a 2-year contract extension with the Rangers. As we look at Jake Leschyshyn on the bench. Young man born in Raleigh, North Carolina, when his dad was obviously playing hockey. Played his WHL hockey with Regina, then Lethbridge. We mentioned the waiver pickup. Had a pair of goals in 41 games last season with Vegas, and he wants to make an impact on this team.
I was surprised he went on waivers. Young player, and we talked about his dad, Curtis, and I was surprised he went on waivers. And when we saw that transaction, I thought it was a trade initially.
Off the draw, Keandre Miller at the line. Hesitates. Goes down low, Trouba spinning around towards the net. Montembeault to stop. Follow-up drive is Trocheck right there in front. Him and Vesey looking for anything in front of Montembeault, who covers.
Little instances like this, it's so important that Montreal finish this period. They started the period well, got the 1-0 lead. Rangers come back and tie it up on a delayed call, but now the Rangers have had that little push, and this is what good teams do. They take apart the time structure of a game, and late in the period, they'll get a little sneaky push on. You cannot let the game get away from you in the last couple minutes.
Keandre Miller, what a move, spinning in, and the backhand wide as Savard laid out in front for Trocheck, and it was knocked below the goal line as the Habs try to get it out of the zone, and they will. Armia from a knee. He got clipped in his right hip area, and he's laboring hard. Armia tries to get back in the play as Vesey loads up. Good block, Edmondson, as Armia does not look well out there. Trocheck. Panarin. Gave it away, though. That's Suzuki there, and he finds Caulfield.
Armia still struggling and heading right off the ice.
Suzuki waits for the trailer. Nice move, Ylönen's backhand, high up the glass. Suzuki cleans it up in the corner. Nick Suzuki. Harris accepts the feed. Harris, far corner. Back for Suzuki, who had his first goal in 11 games last night, getting out of a bit of a funk for the captain. Final minute, MSG second period. And a hand pass being called. And there you see him on the bench, Joel Armia. He grabbed his right hip right away and labored
like just
off.
that little area, there's a little area right above the pants. So above the pants, below the shoulder pads, right in the rib area, and it looks like that's exactly where it got him.
You say that from a player that might know.
I think I've been hit right there. In fact, I flinched when he got hit because I think I felt an old injury.
55.3 seconds remaining. And as the Stars found out, every second counts in this game. Back on Thursday, as you mentioned, the Rangers well rested for this contest, but the Habs, they've stuck right with them on their second of a back-to-back. Doc in the corner with Hedl. Nice pass to Dadonov from Savard as the Habs clear the zone. Drouin.
Such a veteran pass for the receiver and the passer.
Here's Kirby Dach, who has a goal for the Habs on the power play. Dach tees it up for Savard, thought about the shot. Delays, waits, Drouin shoots, stop, rebound. Oh, Shesterkin, two great stops on Jonathan Drouin, who is looking for his first of the season. What a glorious chance there for Drouin.
Beautiful vision by David Savard.
Savard, just a few seconds remaining in the period. Rangers changing. No one even saw the puck, and that will do it. So Kirby Dach, a power play goal, and then with the extra attacker out, delayed penalty, Artemi Panarin, as we're tied up at 1 through 40 minutes of play, and the goalies have been outstanding.
At both ends, David Savard, good vision to find a lane across. Jonathan Drouin once, and then twice again on Shesterkin. And the goaltending has been excellent in this 1-1 hockey game.
How about Montembeault? 57 straight saves until the goal from Artemi Panarin in a very close contest through 40. Molson Export Canadian Hockey on TSN. Intermission coming up next. We'll step aside from New York. Tessa, Frankie, have you covered.
If you're wondering,
For Wild Card Weekend. weekend continues tonight with a showdown between the Ravens and Bengals. Tune in at 7:30 Eastern, 8:30 Atlantic on TSN and CTV, Canada's home for the NFL. As we welcome you back in studio for second intermission, Tessa Frankie still along with you. 1-1 is the score. And it was Kirby Dach who got on the board for the Montreal Canadiens, scoring his 8th of the season, which, as you heard on the broadcast, is a new career high for him. And we're only halfway through the season.
Yeah, the thing I like about this goal, the Montreal Canadiens chose to attack off the rush on the power play. I understand there's going to be a chance against their net, and then they're going to have quick transition going the other way. But teams don't necessarily like to utilize the rush on the power play. Jacob Trouba is going to have the puck here. I think he can get that puck across. Jonathan Drouin's stick is not in the lane. But for Montreal, it goes the other way, and this is exactly how you draw it up in practice. Puck gets to the middle of the ice. It goes cross ice. It's in the back of the net. Kirby Dach's going to do a good job of recognizing that, and I've seen this done a million times in practice. So for that to come to fruition during a game, it is great for the team. It's great for the power play, a power play that's been struggling a lot this season. And there is a little more room for teams to attack off the rush on the power play. I think teams, when they defend on the penalty kill, they're thinking everyone wants to get set up. Everyone wants to get in their formation. So you can have a little more of a sneak attack, if you want to call it that, on the power play. That is no sneak attack. That is a great transition. That's a 3-on-2 perfectly executed by the Montreal Canadiens and Kirby Dach. And
Kirby Dach not only getting it done on the offensive side of the puck, you were impressed with his defensive play as well.
Well, we heard Dave Poulin talking about it during the period, how Kirby Dach's been switching from wing and center and hasn't necessarily found a full-time home yet on this team. And, you know, when you're playing center ice, you need to stick out for a number of reasons. And here we're going to see Kirby Dach in the right spot, defensive zone. Puck goes around the boards. Here he is, second man support. That's something coaches talk about all the time, because you're only as good as your support on the ice. And here we're going to see another example of Kirby Dach with good support. He's down by the goal line. He's reading the play. It's a 2-on-2. He's not going to over back check, but as soon as he realizes there's no one for him to pick up, he helps out, and he's the first guy to create the turnover on the back check. So, you know, when you look at the habits of Kirby Dach and what he's providing away from the puck, you see those examples and you say, okay, there's a chance this guy could be a centerman, because he's second support. He's back on the back check. He's in the right spots in the defensive zone. And those are the things that coaches look for from centermen, because, you know, everyone likes to say 200-foot game. That's a great example of Kirby Dach playing a 200-foot game.
And you'll probably agree with me. If not, that's fine. But what I liked was how low he was in the D zone, supporting those defensemen. The defenseman can take the player out. He just swoops in, grabs the puck, and out they go.
Think about it this way. You're involved in a one-on-one battle, right? Like, players are strong on their sticks. They're really good at getting body positioning. You're only as good as your help. And if your second support gets into the battle a little quicker than the other teams, now you're going to come up with more pucks. And over the course of a 60-minute game, you're coming up with more pucks. You're getting on offense. You're breaking out a little smoother. So for Kirby Dach, if he can keep that up, keep being that second support quicker than New York, that's going to show up in video the next day.
Big time. Let's flip the switch here and go to the New York Rangers. Artemi Panarin. Wes gave me this stat, our buddy Wes here. He scored his 12th. Now, since joining the New York Rangers, he has scored 296 points in 4 years. That's 4th in the NHL. Do you know the people that are ahead of him? McDavid, Draisaitl, and Austin Matthews. Unbelievable by Panarin.
Pretty good.
What'd you like about his goal?
Well, the first thing I liked was that the Montreal Canadiens did a really good job on the penalty kill. And you could see the difference having Savard and Edmondson in front of the net make. Now, you're going to take another penalty, a delayed penalty. The thing I like about what Panarin does is he brings this puck across the ice. It converges all of Montreal's players to the middle of the ice to try and block this shot. No one is able to get it. And Samuel Montembeault has to move from his right to his left. He's going to open up his far blocker side. But for Panarin, anytime you can bring the puck across the middle of the net, it brings your percentages of scoring a goal way up. Teams will always say that's called the slot line. They want that pass going across the slot line. They want you carrying it across the slot line. So for Artemi Panarin, we see why he has all those points. We see why he has all those goals. Yes, he's super skilled, but he's thinking the game out there. And a little part of him is saying, if I can get someone to screen the goalie here that maybe might not even be my teammate, there's going to be an even better chance of me scoring this goal. But I will give Montreal a lot of credit on those penalty kills. They applied much more pressure than they have been in the past, and so they get 2 big penalty kills in the second period. Keeps them in this game.
Look, at second game of a back-to-back. You're tied going into the third period. What style of play, I should say, I guess is what I'm asking, are you expecting to see from them that mighty St. Louis might ask from them?
First of all, this is exactly where you want to be. If you told the Montreal Canadiens they would be tied going into the third period on the second half of a back-to-back against a very good New York Rangers team, they would be thrilled. Now, the style of game is going to be, I don't know if you want to call it greasy, you want to call it gritty, but at some point you're going to find a way to squeak out a win if all things go correct for you. Ideally, you want to keep Montreal out of the middle of the ice. You want to keep them slow off the rush. You want to transition the puck quick, and you want to break out of your zone as quick as you can. You're going to need a few saves along the way. It's not necessarily going to be super pretty, but that's the beauty thing about playing a back-to-back on the road. You need to find ways to grease your way to a win.
Ugly wins, the greasy, ugly wins, absolutely. All right, when we come back, Frankie here is going to talk about Montreal Canadiens prospect and Philippe Méchard, see what he's up to, what kind of goals he's been scoring, and how the future's looking.
The sun is out.
Tonight, as the biggest stars in tennis take to the hard courts for the Australian Open, catch every serve and match point beginning at 7 Eastern, 8 Atlantic, only on TSN. All right, welcome back in studio. Tessa Frankie still with you. Let's talk about the Montreal Canadiens' future, if you will, prospects that they have playing. In last Friday, or this past Friday, you got to see Philippe Méchard play, and I'm sure everyone's kind of wondering what's happening with the other Slovak player that the Montreal Canadiens have drafted. And based on your comments and thoughts that we chatted about a little bit in the intermission, you're pretty impressed.
I was impressed. It wasn't a great game for the Kitchener Rangers, but for Philippe Méchard, it was a fantastic game. And he's one of those guys that catches your eye. Early on in training camp this season, Philippe Méchard caught my eye, and it's because of his speed. Acceleration is the name of the game for this guy. He's really good at getting through the neutral zone with a ton of speed. You can see here how quickly he picks up speed. He's fast, but he's cerebral. He gets himself to spots earlier than a lot of other players, and he's dynamic the way he does it. And watching him play on Friday, we got to see that with Kitchener. He's got 24 points in 20 games with the Rangers. The biggest reason why he was sent to Kitchener was to learn how to play in tight spaces. Playing on the big ice, he was really able to play that open ice game, and it's been a little bit of an adjustment for him coming over to the smaller ice, but he's handled it really well. When you watch him play now, you'll notice how quicker he's processing the game, making decisions, and making plays in tighter spaces. So all things are on track for Philippe Méchard. He was very noticeable in training camp. He's very noticeable in the Ontario Hockey League. And the areas that Montreal needs him to improve at, he's really taken steps to do that. So very encouraging signs from Philippe Méchard watching him play on Friday.
Yeah, he had 6 points in 5 games at the World Junior Championship. Now, NHL Central Scouting released their midterm rankings on Friday. Quentin Musty, what do you think of him?
Okay, so I said this on Friday during the CHL broadcast. Everyone loves Bedard. Adam Fantilli, he's my guy. My next guy is Quentin Musty, and he's ranked 11th on NHL Central Scouting's midterm list. And why does that pertain to the Montreal Canadiens? Well, they own the Florida Panthers first-round pick, which is, I believe, top 10 protected, but Quentin Musty falls right into that category. And what is he? He's a big, strong power forward with great hands and a ton of skill. He's almost comparable to a Matthew Tkachuk kind of player. He fights. He's got a lot of grit. He finishes hits. And I was saying this to Craig Button on Friday. It seems like we're seeing a lot of the same kind of player come up through the ranks today. So when you see a guy like Musty, see a guy like Colby Barlow, these guys, they're bigger, strong power forwards. They finish all their hits. They play with a little jam, a little sandpaper. They really stick out. So this guy's one of my favorites, and I'm looking forward to see him at the Top Prospects game, Tessa.
I was actually at the Sudbury Wolves game on Friday. They were heading in the third period down 4-1, ended up coming back and winning that one 6-4. Massive comeback win. Go Wolves, go. All right, on Friday, Frankie's going to be a part of this broadcast. Julia Teixeira, our producer Steve right now. We got Craig Button in the mix too. Peterborough Pete's visiting the Guelph Storm Friday, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. All right, we come back. We're going to take a look at some highlights from around the league and at the Under-18 Women's World Hockey Championship. Gold, baby, gold. Canada going for back-to-back. Power play goal, his 8th of the season, while Artemi Panarin tied it up with his 12th of the season as the Rangers outshoot the Canadians 14-12 in that period. Let's get to Brian and Dave for more on that second period.
Tessa, we all know that injuries are a part of hockey. We saw what happened to Jake Evans last night, but that also means opportunity. UL Armia on the top line for this hockey game with Suzuki and Cole Caulfield. And Armia and another player, two guys that you've had your eye on in this contest.
I did. Going in, I wanted to see what the performances of some of the veterans coming back are and some of the young guys that are getting the opportunity up. And UL Armia starts the game and is ready to go right from the drop of the puck. Hard to the boards, win a puck battle, just the small details of the game. And you're not looking for him to take over the game or score 4 goals. You're looking for him to look after the play, to pass the puck when the play is available. Good pass to Cole Caulfield. Good play coming down below the goal line and then stretching it right up the ice, showing a willingness to skate with the puck and make a play, the confidence to do that. It's amazing what a couple of goals do. 29 years old, he's got a couple years left on his deal. Is he going to be part of the future? Jesse Olenin fighting from the opposite end, 23 years old, coming out of an entry-level deal. He's had success in the American League. He's had a couple of cups of coffee in the NHL, but he shows good poise. Now, he may have more of an offensive upside than Armia does, but Armia was in a pretty upscale. You know, he got up to 16 goals, and every year his goal output was increasing. And so I think these are big games for these players through the second portion of the year. Then put Mike Hoffman in there, and there's a couple of other players, you know, Josh Anderson. These are big, big games for them to show Montreal Brass whether they're going to be part of things here.
Because eventually Sean Monahan gets healthy, Brendan Gallagher gets healthy. And one thing we talked about that's a great sign regardless for this team, really no passengers the last few games. Everyone has been pushing at the right time for Martin St. Louis. Tessa.
Great stuff, gents. Thanks. All right, let's get to some highlights. Canucks Hurricanes. Last minute of the first, 1-zip Canes. JT Miller can't clear the puck. Jacob Slavin finds Jordan Martinook. He beats Colin Delia. Martinook's 10th doubles the Canes lead. That one sits at 2-1. Ethan Bear has scored for the Canucks in that one. All right, to the OHL. Windsor, London. First period, 1-zip Windsor with the 2-man advantage. Shane Wright finishes off the old tic-tac-toe. It's his 3rd of the season. He'd had an empty netter. Spitfires take it 4-1. Let's get to the women's under-18s gold medal game. Canada taking on Sweden. First period, already 4-zip Canada. Caitlin Kramer, who's had an amazing tournament, by the way, on the 2-on-1 snipes, completing the first period hat trick. She actually had 4 in the game. Canada routs Sweden in this one. Wins gold, going back-to-back. Congrats, ladies. Love the hard work. Always great to see it. All right, let's get back to MSG with Brian and Dave for third period play.
Tessa, the New York Rangers at least a point in 7 straight games. They've won 5 of the last 6 overall. But Cole Caulfield and the Montreal Canadiens, second game of a back-to-back, have done a great job through 40 minutes.
He's your game breaker tonight. Just as Panarin tied things up, he's the guy. He's got an assist. He's got 4 shots, almost 12 minutes in ice time. And that's the type of player you look to in a tight game. Your best players have to be difference makers. Panarin just did it. It's Cole Caulfield's turn.
As Caulfield, Kirby Dach lead the Montreal Canadiens 4 shots each in this hockey game. Dach, obviously the power play goal, Panarin answering. And that's where we stand. 1-1 underway here in this third period. Here is Alexis Lafreniere. Lost it at center ice to Armia. Good to see Armia starting this third period. He was kind of grabbing his hip. Went off to the bench in some pain, but appears to be just fine. Also saw Jake Evans at the intermission, Dave, and he looked okay as well. He was in good spirits, so nice to have a quick chat with Jake Evans, and hopefully he's not out too long.
Well, everybody that sees you is in good spirits, so.
It's very kind of you, Dave Poulin. Checks in the mail, or Bitcoin, or whatever I can find. Here's Savard setting up behind Montembeault as he'll drop it off. And again, Montembeault, another solid quality start for the Montreal Canadiens as he's starting his 4th game in a row. He had 5 starts in a row last season as well, so he has done it before. 4th straight start tonight, and he's answered the call thus far. Jimmy Vesey flips it in, looking for Trocheck. He gets taken down. Dug out by Hoffman. Mike Hoffman to the right side for Kirby Dach. He'll bring it in. Takes the body check from Keandre Miller. Linesman in there as well, as James Tobias felt a bit of that.
Holding his own with those 2 big men in there, I thought.
He did very well. Look out, stretch pass up ahead as Trocheck in behind the defense, unable to collect it cleanly. Shesterkin. He'll play it along the boards, and this is the first of a back-to-back for the Rangers. They're off to Columbus, so likely Yaroslav Halak will see action in that game tomorrow for New York. Good job by Hedl. He'll hold the zone. Arber Xhekaj, who still leads all rookie defensemen, by the way, Dave. 5 goals, and he's got 2 power play goals for rookie defenders. That also leads in that category for young Arber Xhekaj.
You know, a player of that type of game, you don't usually say he's had a quiet game. He's had a nicely quiet game today. I mean, he's been very effective, smart plays, good body position. He's been physical when he had to. You know, there's a play in front of the net. He just threw Sammy Blais, who's a big guy, down to the ice. So he's more than happy to be engaged, but doesn't draw attention to himself, just plays an efficient, effective game. And that's unusual to say about a young guy.
2-on-2 as Jesse Ylonen to the left side. Dadonov takes it around the net. Dadonov spinning right in front. Loose. Ylonen spins, missed. Backhand try, Drouin through the crease. You have to think it's sooner rather than later for Jonathan Drouin. He continues to play some good hockey.
That's who I should have picked to score in this 3rd period.
Kovacevic into the glove and out of the glove as Shesterkin plays it pretty slickly. Up for Hedl.
Clearly has dinner reservations.
Hedl in, backhand try. Xhekaj last minute took it away. A good block. Head up to the line. Adam Fox, he's so crafty at the blue line, isn't he? Hedl shoots through the maze of bodies, hits something, went wide. Lane Hudson sort of does the same thing. The 2nd round pick of the Habs out of the United States National Team Development Program. That little shuffle, very deceptive to the line. I'm not comparing him or saying he's going to be Adam Fox, but there's similarities there.
He scored the overtime winner last night for Boston University, and he is evasive, and that's what Adam Fox is. He drops his shoulder, he drops the head, he pulls the leg. He always seems to be going in 7 different directions. He is as elusive a player, I believe, as there is in the NHL. Every single time he approaches you, he's moving in a different direction. It's amazing to watch, Brian, and you know, watching him walk the line is one thing, fake a shot, but just on a simple play in the neutral zone, watch him closely. There's always some sort of deception coming at you. And I believe deception is one of the best skills a defender can have, particularly when he is a little bit smaller of size.
Won the Norris back in 2021, the first Ranger since Brian Leetch, and the only other player to win the Norris in his 2nd season at that point was the great Bobby Orr. So it's a nice company.
Yeah. Good player.
Yeah, he certainly was. Pezzetta into the corner. Fox back on the puck, and he craftily takes it away. Flip back into Montreal territory. In comes Sammy Blais. Not shy about that physical game. Another Quebec native, Julien Gauthier, unable to go for the Rangers in this contest.
Brian, on that play, Savard fans on the puck, but he's protected by Christian Dvorak, who comes back and helps out below the goal line. And a centerman can play such a key role because a defenseman's going to bobble a puck. He might fan on it, whatever might happen. Not hurt at all by that play because of the positioning of Christian Dvorak.
Look out, Shesterkin. Little miscommunication. Suzuki kicks at it to Caulfield. In front, Armia. Oh, how quick was that? Yoel Armia and Shesterkin able to squeeze. How good was that passing?
That went from Nick Suzuki's toe to Cole Caulfield's stick to Yoel Armia's stick to Igor Shesterkin about as fast as it could possibly go, as fast as you could say those 4 names in one sentence. Watch this little sequence here. Shesterkin throws it. There's the foot of Suzuki, the hand to the stick of Caulfield, across to Armia, and a rocket shot.
Good blast there by Justin Barron. Handled by Shesterkin. Barron again works it in deep. Caulfield in pursuit. There's Lindgren. Lindgren, Caulfield tangled up. Barron gloves it down very nicely. Keeps it alive. Caulfield's got Suzuki in front. Caulfield takes the puck. Winds it up. Cole Caulfield across. Wrist shot, and Shesterkin read it perfectly. He was ready on the shot from Barron. As the Rangers trying to break away in numbers. Just staying on side was Fox, but on the brakes, he gets taken down. As him and Caulfield tangled up, Suzuki at center ice, and he lines up Fox. Little cross check. Things heating up here in the third period.
Nicely, and talk about ice water in Cole Caulfield's veins on his own blue line.
Panarin, tough angle shot. Montembeault, no problem. Head to the line. Schneider, big rip, rebound in the diving attempt. Montembeault stuck with it. Again, it's Schneider at the line. Wobbling shot. Hit a stick, went wide. Rangers coming in waves now. Panarin across as Harper's shot didn't get through. Harris trying to settle things down, and he will. Chips it to center ice. Anderson, cross ice. Kirby Dach was cutting in. Hoffman chips it to him. Anderson couldn't get there in time. Look out. Panarin has a step. Artemi Panarin. And the knuckler didn't get to the net as Harris, that smooth skating, recovered in time.
Talk about a recovery for Jordan Harris in the stick position.
Look out, Hedel in tight quarters. On the puck, curls around, wrist shot, rebound available. Another try, Trouba, as he whipped it high and wide. And finally comes to center ice as the blood getting a little bit more boiling, and the chances coming alive in the third. In comes Kravtsov. He'll feed it down low. Played far point. Keandre Miller accepts the pass. Miller delays, drops, and Kravtsov. Montembeault was ready. No screen. Right into the glove for a save. As Samuel Montembeault, 28 saves and counting, and a 1-1 tie here on a Sunday night in New York. Some sad news to pass along from the hockey world as Gino Odjick has passed away at the age of 52. He was born in Quebec. He actually finished his hockey career with the Montreal Canadiens back in 2001 and 2001-2002, playing the 2 seasons with the Montreal Canadiens. Played 49 games with the Habs and sadly gone too soon.
One of the toughest in his day, and I remember him well as a Vancouver Canuck, and we would go in there with both, well, Philadelphia first and then Boston, and that was one tough customer. Penalty minute years of 370, 371 in the National League, and protected his teammates very well. It would be the Pavel Bure teams that he would have been a big factor on in Vancouver, and as you said, lost far too early.
Our condolences to the Odjick family as Ylonen, he'll bring it in, cutting in, back pass in front, looking for Dadonov, and it was broken up. Jonathan Drouin up top, Arber Xhekaj, oh, what a bomb, and that stung. Kravtsov is laboring, and he's trying to get off the ice. Adam Fox spinning away, gets it to Lindgren. Vitaly Kravtsov, man, he felt all of that drive from Xhekaj. Kovacevic tries that centering pass.
Xhekaj got all of that shot as well.
Kaapo Kakko leading the rush, tries to send it across the lane, and it is Arber Xhekaj breaking that up.
So well played by the forwards and the D there. The young D standing up, the forwards coming back and protecting.
Good shot by Ylonen. Deceptive wrist shot, but not fooling Shesterkin. Justin Barron at center ice, he'll lay it back. 38 minutes gone in this third period. Barron finds Dvorak up the left side for Big Joel Edmondson. Edmondson at the line, he's interrupted by Zibanejad. Barron back on it. Justin Barron trying to use the boards, knocked down by Lafreniere nicely. as these two teams will meet one more time March 9th at Montreal. Habs trying to get some revenge from the loss back at the Bell Center on January 5th, the 4-1 loss. Edmondson. Juraj Slafkovsky zips it across for Pezzetta. Pezzetta had to wait for it, then takes contact from Schneider. As the New York Rangers play whistle down, a little conversation, Savard to Lafreniere. Could be French, could be English.
Might just be reminding him he's offside there. Nothing annoys you more than when you're offside and somebody tells you, yeah, you're offside.
And there's that shot you talked about. And
Kravtsov taking that shot up high and looked like it caught him. Hard to say exactly where, but Kravtsov went limping off the ice. Valiant shot block on a bullet by Arbor Xhekaj.
Here's the captain, Jacob Trouba, gave it away to Cole Caulfield. Trouba jumps back on it. Trouba, the flip down the ice, looking for Vesey. Vesey able to drop it off, and Montembeault made the stop and then elects to play it. Here comes Armia with Cole Caulfield, 2-on-1. Caulfield delays, shoots, and he missed high. No, Caulfield was going to pull that trigger. Artemi Panarin, Jimmy Vesey. Following up, Keandre Miller delays, and he delayed too much. It went through him, and it's Armia up to Caulfield. Suzuki with Caulfield. As the two Wisconsin Badgers tangled up in front, Caulfield score! Off the turnover, Cole Caulfield, 2-1, Montreal. 26 on the season as Caulfield lights it up.
Caulfield had the earlier chance on the 2-on-1. I love the decision to shoot the puck there. He's on the inside. He takes the shot. And then coming back into the zone, it's Nick Suzuki from behind. Finds the little broken play. Strips it of Keandre Miller. Out front, Cole Caulfield parked in front, stationary, stick up right over the glove of Shesterkin. And the celebration happens. We talked about the ability of the best player to elevate in the third period, Brian. That's what's happened so far. Still hockey to play here at Madison Square Garden.
Comes in 11th in the National Hockey League in goals this season as Cole Caulfield, the legend, continues to grow. As Caulfield finding that open space, and surprise, surprise, it's Suzuki, it's Caulfield providing the spark. Here's Kirby Dach, he'll chip and chase, slipping it in. Dach, Anderson, back to Dach, Hoffman's in front. Mike Hoffman spins, shoots just wide. In comes Kovacevic. Jonathan Kovacevic leaves it. Kirby Dach behind the net. His turn. He'll backhand pass up to Hoffman. Hoffman leaves for Dach. Being watched closely by Lindgren, jamming away. So Suzuki and Armia, the assists on the 26th of the season from Cole Caulfield.
Armia being a factor all night tonight. We talked about his little detail plays in the neutral zone, the defensive zone, but that's a big body, and he's got good hands, and it's been a mighty struggle offensively for him, but coming through at a big time.
Remember, Armia got his first of the season versus the Rangers in that loss back at the Bell Center, and who would have thought now the top line was Suzuki and Caulfield for this game. Pass behind Kravtsov, who appears to be okay after blocking that shot from Xhekaj. Puck freed out, and nice little poke job by Dadonov. Dadonov trying to break in. Dadonov still with it, jams at it, and Shesterkin shut it down. Slafkovsky jams it in. There's Edmondson. Edmondson keeps it moving as the Habs would love to get some insurance here for Montembeault. Barron, the backhand in. Bouncing around Slafkovsky. Good job, protects the puck from a knee and swings it in. Worth mentioning, too, in that Nashville game, the shot blocks by Juraj Slafkovsky. He did a lot in that contest to impress the coaching staff. No passengers in this game tonight, that's for sure. As Dvorak steals, Dvorak, Pezzetta shoots, what a stop! Shesterkin on Pezzetta, point blank.
Nice little drop leave by Dvorak. Pezzetta had the shot. We've got a great angle on it.
Lafreniere's turn. Zips it across. Went right through. Kaapo Kakko and Suzuki the other way. Nick Suzuki trying to burst in. And a good defensive play as the captain Trouba got back. Kakko, floating pass, and I believe a hand pass, so that'll be blown down as the action ramping up with under 9 minutes to go. Well, you called it. Who are you going to call? Game changer. How about Cole Caulfield? He's got 26. It's 2-1. Time now for the Molson Export big moment of the game.
Look to your best players at the most critical times. Cole Caulfield parks in front. Watch the little pop out. He moves back maybe a foot and a half to clear himself of any defensive players, to give himself a little more room to put it up over the glove of Shesterkin.
Montreal Canadiens are 11-7-1 this season when he scores the first goal. And look at their record in one-goal games this season. And that's just it. What were your points at the start of the game, Dave? Get a good start. Keep it close. Give Montembeault a chance. And Montembeault has certainly answered the call in back-to-back games, which is all you can ask of Samuel Montembeault. As Lindgren across for Fox. Adam Fox towards the net. Good pick off and a strong stick. As Suzuki the other way. Lays it out for Armia. Armia wrister, and that top near side corner.
You can certainly see Armia's confidence growing offensively just through this game, but even getting the opportunity to play up there, Brian. And, you know, now he's got a couple of goals. Things are going the other way for Yoel Armia.
3 goals, 6 points on the season coming in. Of course, the assist, so he's up to 7 points now, Yoel Armia. And it can't hurt a little injection of Suzuki Caulfield as Martin St. Louis, obviously shorthanded with a few injuries.
I think he could play with Cole Caulfield.
Or remember,
Suzuki.
Marty closed out his career here in New York.
He certainly did, with a flair.
93 games with the Rangers. He had 22 goals here on the big stage at MSG. By the way, Slafkovsky's gone to the dressing room, so we'll keep an eye on him. Harris on the puck for Montreal. Flips it near boards. Picked up by Vesey across. Wanted Panarin. Too much heat on the pass. Artemi Panarin. Up top. DeAndre Miller just missing with his wrist shot drive. Look out. Here's Suzuki. He's got space. Suzuki. And what a play. DeAndre Miller took it away from the captain.
All the momentum for Miller on the back check. Had a full head of steam.
Another turnover. Anderson's turn. Drops. Suzuki. Delays. Suzuki. In. Backhand one at Anderson. Just missed him. Edmondson far point. Across for Justin Barron. Barron delivers. Hoffman. The backhand for Anderson. Mike Hoffman. Up for Edmondson. He had to choke down on the big stick just to hold the zone momentarily. Here comes the Rangers as Panarin, the setup guy. Good job by Montreal. He was trying to feed Trocheck and get him in clean. In the corner is Gaudreau with Johnny Brodzinski. Brodzinski in a battle. Edmondson, Barron there. Doc trying to help out. Played up top. Schneider. In the corner for Hedl. Hedl trying to dance away from Doc. Brodzinski in front. Oh, that was a nice set play, and Hedl wasn't ready for the pass. Schneider back in deep. Up to Ben Harper. Good pressure here by New York. Hedl sends it across for Schneider. His drive right in front side of the net as the Rangers chopping at it, but Montreal led by Kirby Dach. It's a good play intended for Brodzinski, but the Rangers couldn't click.
Kirby Dach gives his entire unit a chance to change. All 4 come out, then he follows.
Nice little play. Dvorak 2-on-1. Christian Dvorak for Bizzetta. Pass behind him as Bizzetta behind the net. In front, Ylonen shoots, just jerking the stop. No passengers in this hockey game for the Montreal Canadiens. All 4 lines, very noticeable tonight. Adam Fox, look out, weird bounce. As Fox behind the net, Shesterkin able to find it. As the Montreal Canadiens, 5 minutes, 20 seconds away from taking 2 points here in New York. Tonight's high performance part is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts.
Center Kirby Dach in the right place at the right time. Not always in a good way physically blocking that shot from a pain standpoint, but certainly the pain alleviated with that power play goal in that first period. And that gave Montreal a 1-0 lead. Strong game for Kirby Dach in the center position.
Face off to the left of Igor Shishkin. Suzuki able to win it. Harris threads it in. There's Adam Fox. Pinned by Suzuki. Still no Uri Slafkovsky as Harris shoots, looking for that deflection. Slafkovsky just joining us. He's gone down the tunnel and yet to see number 20. Fox able to lay it ahead for Artemi Panarin. Panarin delays, wrister. That hits Savard and nearly fooled Montembeault. DeAndre Miller. Panarin works it across for Fox. Adam Fox trying to spin away. DeAndre Miller holds the zone. Panarin. Fox. Top 10 in NHL assists is Fox again. That little shuffle. Gets it back. Panarin. Fox. He'll walk it in. Fox towards the net, and that stayed out. Artemi Panarin leaves for Keandre Miller. Miller again. Over for Panarin. That hit a skate right to Miller. Fox. Montreal keeping the Rangers to the outside until here. Wrist shot, Montembeault on Panarin. As Artemi Panarin looking for another one. Here's Caulfield one-on-one. Caulfield just winds it up. Good stop, Shesterkin. The Caulfield cannon. That kid's feeling it tonight.
Love it, but what a stop by Samuel Montembeault. You're going to need another one or two.
In comes Vesey, burst of speed, works it across, Lafreniere into the corner. Vesey. Lindgren pinching in. Puck battle near circle. Vesey trying to drag it around Edmondson. Can't fool the veteran blue liner. There's Dadonov, far boards with Dvorak. And Christian Dvorak, a nice job to chip it down the ice.
Great battle by Dadonov, Dvorak, and veteran players on the board. You have to win a battle 10 feet inside your own blue line. It has to pop out of the zone, and it does.
Good steal by Jonathan Drouin, center ice. Drouin waits for help. Drouin, Dvorak. He'll cut in. As Drouin at the end of his shift, he'll head off. But a good steal by him at center ice.
Mike Hoffman had snuck in the other side, and he was focused on Dvorak moving the puck to his forehand side. It was Hoffman that would have been the cleaner option on his offside.
Under 3 minutes to go on this Sunday night, third period, 2-1 Montreal. It's Cole Caulfield, the go-ahead goal. And a ton of bodies pinning that puck, far corner. Cleaned up by Montreal. As Barron flips it down the ice. Anderson, the guy in the forecheck up front. Moved quickly out to Fox, who's got space. Wrist shot block, follow-up try. Savard. Good job by Montembeault and Savard, who stuck with the crafty Fox.
Crafty Fox and a cagey veteran.
Trouba tried to jam it in, flipped up to Suzuki. He didn't want to knock it down with a high stick. Alertly let it fall as him and Keandre Miller in a battle. As Goodrow sends it across, Shesterkin gone. Extra attacker, minute 55 to go. Extra skater up for the Rangers. Hedl in the corner. Goodrow in the puck battle with Hedl. Armia works far boards. Trouba slaps it in. Savard around the boards. Tries to wrap it to center ice. It's held in by Schneider. Schneider to Hedl. Hedl. That's chipped to center ice. A minute 30 to go. Net empty New York.
What a stick by Nick Suzuki.
Artemi Panarin. Capo Caco in. Wrist shot up high. Might have grazed the post, but Montembeault squeezed it. Zibanejad across. Fox wrister in front. Capo Caco. Backhand try. Montembeault sticks with it. Another great save. Samuel Montembeault. Rangers changing on the fly as Panarin waits. Still with it. Panarin Puts it up top. Fox, Panarin, Armia, great stick. Savard out there over 2 minutes right now on this shift. As Dvorak into the corner, and he finds Suzuki. Net empty. Suzuki, though, could not get a touch on it. Icing call versus the Rangers.
That is one tired group of Montreal Canadiens out there. You can see a timeout going. Looked like New York's already going to call their timeout, and that'll be to the benefit of Montreal because they are gassed out there. So it'll be Christian Dvorak, Yoel Armia, Nick Suzuki. So you've got two centermen. You've got a left shot and a right shot centerman out there. You've got Jordan Harris and you've got David Savard. Jordan Harris wide on the bench. He's trying to create a little confusion for who might come out. Getting called back out on the ice by the official, but he's just getting a rest in. And this is where we think Juraj Slafkovsky got hurt, right at the end of that play. On the weak side, he went down the tunnel after that. We haven't seen him since. Now heading off the ice, looks like a left. Part of some side, I won't even speculate, upper body or lower body.
Montreal Canadiens hockey on TSN is proudly brought to you by Molson Export. Here's to the real ones.
Exciting. This third period, the fans come alive. It has been a great hockey game. As Samuel Montembeault, that last sequence, a couple of massive saves on Kaapo Kakko in tight. Dvorak 4 of 7 in the face-off circle. And a big clean up by Montreal to get it out of the zone. Zibanejad. Lafreniere, he'll bring it in. Just held into the line. Keandre Miller, remember, he was the hero on Thursday. Fox lays it across. Panarin loads up. Montembeault the stop. Zibanejad into the corner. Lays it, though, right to Savard. Plays it to Edmondson around the boards and down the ice.
That first faceoff win, they were able to get Edmondson out for Jordan Harris, so that's how critical that was.
No icing. As Keandre Miller, can he do it again? Remember, he tied the game with a second left in regulation back on Thursday. 5 seconds left. Every second counts. As the Habs trying to hang on here. Puck in the corner, swung in front, through the crease. Edmondson cleans up, and the Montreal Canadiens hang on for a big 2-1 win. And Samuel Montembeault was brilliant for Montreal.
Well, Samuel Montembeault was brilliant, and so were every one of his teammates, to a man. Montreal came to play in a 5 o'clock game at Madison Square Garden. Montembeault good throughout, a power play goal. 1-1 going into the third, Brian. We needed a big play by someone. You look to your best field, your best goal scorer finds a way to score a goal. But top to bottom, think of every player in this team had a lot of mention during the game in terms of their individual play, team play.
39 saves for Samuel Montembeault. Unbelievable performance from him. Remember last night as well, 36 of 38 shots as well. So he's been busy in back-to-back starts, back-to-back nights. Yeah, Suzuki Caulfield, another impact and a 2-1 win. Which brings us to the Molson Export 3 stars.
Not much doubt about number 1, Samuel Montembeault. A strong effort from top to bottom, 39 saves and 40 shots. Game-winning goal. Cole Caulfield finding a little parking spot in front of that, taking a perfect Nick Suzuki shot. Shesterkin, not to be outdone, equally outstanding. 1 goal more than Samuel Montembeault.
Cole Caulfield, 3rd game of the season, 8th of his career. And how about Samuel Montembeault, stopping 75 of his last 78 shots, a .961 save percentage. We're back Tuesday, Jets versus Canadiens, back at the Bell Center on Molson Export Canadiens Hockey on TSN. Thank you for watching. Thanks for making us part of your weekend, and good night from downtown New York.
Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues. And the big ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library.